Alright, so we have our plug back in. We have our diodes and our resistor wired in. And what we're going to do is we're just going to check to make sure everything works properly before we solder everything up. I always recommend checking your electronics before you solder it. We're just using just a little 18-volt drill battery. So John's going to turn on the markers first to make sure that they turn on, which they do. Now check the turn signals along with the marker. You can see the difference in brightness, which it works perfect. No flickering, no fluttering, no strobing. Cool. Now we'll go back and heat shrink everything and solder everything back up.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll solder this up. Make sure it's got a good connection. Alright, this one goes to this one. Alright, and then the wire goes to the back. That's all it needs. And then go ahead and put your heat shrink on. Put that one on last. Just try and cover up as much of the wire as possible. And the resistors, you don't really want them touching a whole lot. And yes, we know it's the wrong size. It's all we had. Just like that, you're done. Plug back in. Tuck your wire away. Make sure it's not going to bind up against anything. And now you should have dual function mirror lights. Throw it all back together and throw it on the truck.
So first thing you want to do when you put your bezel back on is plug the white clearance lights up. Make sure those are tucked in out of the way.
First, you want to make sure that your wiring stays out of the way of the actual mirror function itself.
You can zip tie that or use a twisty tie or something if you're horribly worried about it. And since this is the driver's side, which you have witnessed us take apart and rewire and put back together, the passenger side mirror has already been done and should be ready for paint. They're going on a black truck, so I'm just going to paint everything black to go with the truck and be done with it. But the weather outside is wet and colder today, so I'm not 100% sure I'm going to be mounting these and painting them today. But at least this is one less step that has to be worried about. Okay, and it's all on. Grab the mirrors. Cut that glue off. Make sure you, since these are heated, make sure you connect the heated connections back on. It really doesn't matter where they came out of. And then your plug for the turn signal arrow on the inside of the mirror. And I think I had it upside down. So there we go. And these are kind of tricky to get back in, so just be careful.
You'll hear the audible snap. That's when you know it's on.
As you can see, snap back in place. And then you grab the convex mirror, and that snaps in a lot easier. And there you have it. Dual function LED tow mirrors.
Give it one more test just to make sure.
So running off of the 18-volt drill battery. There's a clearance light. And connect your power wire for the turn signal. As you can see, it flashes just fine when I take the wire on and off the positive terminal. No issues. And if I leave it on there, no strobing, no blinking, no nothing. So it works perfectly.
And that's about it. That's all you need to do to get dual function mirrors.